the case for Taco Tuesday and Pizza Friday. Why do we have these repeats? Is this actually helpful? So, you know that I want to talk about meal planning. My friend told me the other day that nobody wants to talk about meal planning, and she said it in a supportive way. So, let me know, do you want to talk about meal planning? Is it helpful to learn tips for meal planning? Or do I need to take a step back and convince you that it's helpful to take steps for meal planning? Because if in any way, at any point during the week, you get to the end of the day and you think, oh my God, yuck, what's for dinner? I promise the easiest way to get out of that rut, it is the ladder to climb you out of your rut, is to figure out a system of meal planning to some extent that works for you. That might just be deciding at the bus stop. I made a video about that the other day. You're walking back from the bus stop, you're driving back from school drop off, and you decide what's for dinner that night. The point is, decide once and move on and be done with it. This is not something that I invented. It's not something that specifically has to do with meal planning. It's like a productivity tool. Decide once, because then you can take that piece out of your brain and it's not rattling around in there all day long. So, anyway, I digress on my meal planning bandwagon. But do let me know what you think about meal planning. So, the reason I talk about this is because I want you to reduce food waste, right? I'm here to save the planet, people, by reducing food waste. But when you all join my Facebook group or when I ask on Instagram, like what kind of resources you need, people tell me that they don't have time to think about reducing food waste because the stress of getting dinner on the table is the thing that's like most consistently blocking you from thinking about cooking to reduce food waste, which makes sense, right? Like reducing food waste is a nice to have, but putting food on the table, even if it's just on your own plate, is a must have because for the most part, you can't be skipping meals. So we need to make it easier to get dinner on the table, and then maybe we can pick up some reducing food waste tips. So those are my like secret evil guy layer ulterior motives, right? Get you meal planning, get you reducing the stress you feel around dinner time and feeding your family so that you can reduce food waste, save the planet, and then we all get to like, see tigers and have trees when, a few more decades pass. So Taco Tuesday and Pizza Friday. This is a tool you can use. It's old school. My mother-in-law has been having like pizza every Sunday night for decades, and it's fantastic. Let's bring this back. It's really, really smart. So if your initial instinct is to say, oh, but we like variety. No, you don't. You really don't. Do you? I mean, I talk to hundreds of people. I've interviews with thousands of people who have taken surveys to tell me how much variety they want or what is, preventing dinner from being an easy thing to do. Nobody's worried about variety. I really challenge you on that if you think having tacos every Tuesday night isn't going to give you enough variety. Because if that's your concern, then what is a taco? I mean, is it a street taco? Is it a crispy taco? Is it a soft taco? Could we have fish, beans, rice, pork? Could we have steak 3 different ways? Could you have chicken tacos 19 different ways? I bet I could come up with chicken tacos 19 different ways. That's a lot of variety. You can add butternut squash when the fall rolls around. You can add peaches now that it's spring. So you can still have categories, but have the specific meal or recipe that you're following be really, really varied. But the point is that deciding what's for dinner is a multi-step process, right? You have to decide how much time you have. Are you going to cook? Or how much you're going to cook? Do you have any leftovers in your fridge? Are you going to get to the grocery store today before you go shopping? So if you make parts of this decision ahead of time, you're taking them off your daily to decide list because, hey, it's Friday, we're having pizza. So you've already like eliminated, you're not having pasta, you're not having tacos today, you're not making risotto, you're going to have pizza. So now you can just hone in What do we want on our pizza? What type of pizza are we having? Am I making pizza? Am I buying pizza? Am I having a frozen pizza? Are we having a cauliflower crust? There are still so many decisions. And, to further my point about variety, there's still plenty of variety, but you're narrowing down the different number of decisions that you need to make. So you can have so many different categories. If anyone has any favorite categories, add them to the comments and I'll make up a big master list. And if you, in the first comment, you can get on my email list. I have a little free download that I just put out this week. It's really pretty. It's called Truly Fast Family Meals. It has 11 of my favorite tips for making your family meals really super fast. Anyway, go download that and you'll put your name on my email list, and then I will also send you out this compiled list of categories. So add your category to my list and I'll pull them all together. But some of my favorites, classics, obviously Taco Tuesdays, there's Meatless Mondays, pizza on Friday or Sunday. I also love breakfast for dinner tonight. That's always like a really big hit in my family to do breakfast for dinner. But you could also do takeout night. You could do frozen dinner night. You could do kids make dinner tonight, especially if you have kids who are like tweens. One of the ways that I got into cooking when I was probably late middle school, early high school was by owning a night of dinner and actually saying, here are the groceries I need to have in the house, and this is the recipe I'm going to make. So that's great. Two birds with one stone. Assign your kid dinner night. You could have pasta night. You could have, I don't know, Indian food night. You could have whatever works for your family. You could have fish night. You could have giant salad night. You can really make up any category that works for your family. But remember, this is a tool to help you. This is not supposed to be making your life more difficult. So let's say you have giant salad for dinner night on Thursday. It's perfect for summer. It's a no-cook meal. 5 Thursdays come and go, and then all of a sudden that following Thursday, you have leftovers that you need to eat. Who cares, man? Just skip it. Just drop it. But then next week, Thursday's going to come up again. Bring back your big salad night as you get through the season. Or let's say you do big salad night and then the seasons change and it does become colder. Big salads aren't as much fun anymore. So now swap that out. Add in a different night. So this doesn't have to be, set in stone forevermore, that for many, many decades on end, you do these categories. Just use them until they don't work for you anymore. Maybe make it a really fun family game, right? You could have everybody vote on which theme or tradition nights they want to do, and then do them for 6 weeks or 12 weeks, and then change them. And then you can have the next voter come through. So there's lots of ways you can use this and adapt it so that it is a helpful tool that helps you decide some things in advance, but not have to decide everything in advance. And it is not in any way going to limit your variety, only as much as you want it to limit your variety. I mean, you could have cheese pizza from the place down the street every Thursday night if that's easier for you. But the point is to make it your own. So then my third tip for you on this strategy, again, because my overall goal here is help you reduce stress, specifically for those weeknight meals after work, after school, when you're just slammed with, time crunch and a lot of pressure and stress. And frankly, it's just annoying, right? So my third tip, and I am so adamant about this one, as they say, I will die on this hill. Write it down. Write it down and post it in a place where everyone in your household can see it or read it. I have a 4-year-old who cannot read, but he can still understand pictures. Maybe I use icons, or even if he can't quite get there yet, he can still sort of start to be trained where to go to learn what for dinner is. Because there is nothing more annoying. If you know something, tell me. There is nothing more annoying than already feeling stressed about dinner, being the one who has to make it, maybe even the one who has to clean it up, and then also having your family parade through the kitchen on their way to doing whatever they feel like doing, asking what's for dinner tonight. It is annoying. And if your kids are even remotely picky or choosy eaters, mine kind of are a little bit, then it's even more annoying, because if they don't love your answer, they start complaining about what's for dinner while you're still making it. Like, seriously, that is like top 3 pet peeves of mine. I cannot stand it. And I suspect that you don't really like it easier. So, the best way to get around this is to write it down. So, if you have categories, make a little calendar, get a whiteboard, get a chalkboard, use a piece of scratch paper. It's what I do all the time. I'm a scribbler. We always have scratch paper. Anyway, you write it down, you post it on the side of your fridge or somewhere in the kitchen office or nearby so that when they run through and say, "What's for dinner?" you don't say a word, you just point. Just thumbs over your shoulder or say something maybe like, you know where to find the answer for that question. So this, I think, is like a win on many levels. It starts to teach your kid and family that this isn't just your responsibility, that this is something you're doing for the good of the household, and they will be expected to participate. But also, it's teaching them to have some independence, some resourcefulness. They know where to go to find the answer to this question. And even if it's just category nights, they know where to go to reference it. So they don't need to be asking you. You don't need to be the keeper of all this information. It's bad enough that you're the only one making dinner and you're going through this process by yourself. Don't also be the keeper of all this information. These are these tiny little micro tasks that you don't get paid for, that nobody sees, that nobody thanks you for. Nobody's like, "Thanks, Mom, for deciding that every Friday is pizza night." That's not a compliment we go around doing, but you're still carrying and holding this information. So we can help ourselves. You can't make your kids eat anything. You can't make them change that they ask the question, but you can help them learn where to go find the answer to that information. So you write it down when it's convenient for you. You have it posted, and then you just start telling them, "Oh, you want to know what's for dinner? You know where to find the answer to that question." And they can go and find the answer. So it is a little tiny way. Everybody can do that for tonight and start getting your family to know where that answer is. And it is a tiny way you can take some decisions off your plate, and you can take some information that is only in your head and put it out there for your whole family to access on their own without having to come to you. And it might seem really little, but this is super important because the more you're all ratcheted up with these stress points and this private, invisible task, the less space you have in your mind, in your like anxiety level, the less space you have to then sit down and enjoy dinner with these people that you call your family. It would be much more fun to like learn the names of some new monster trucks or hear what your kids did at school today or have a grown-up conversation than to just be still kind of reeling from all of this invisible labor that you do. Okay? So, if you're still watching or you're watching this on replay, go to the first comment, get on my mailing list, get that free download, 11 tips for truly fast family meals. And then also, I would really love to hear what are your favorite categories that I didn't mention or name that we can add. And then don't forget, if you do, one additional thing for yourself tonight, write down the ideas of what you'll have for dinner this week or write down those categories to start getting those invisible tasks off of your mind alone and make everybody share them with you. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. Nice to see you, and I will see you next time.